Hello, this is Kenneth Vance from Rooftop Videos. This is a question that's not last days related, but this is a question that had come to me, so I thought I would try to give the best answer that I could give. I'm not perfect at everything, but you know, there's people that are curious and they wonder why things go wrong. I do too. About, is tithing still here? Okay, we've all been burdened to death. Let me flip to this page. I'll make this real quick. You've heard this, but let's say it just for clarification. Many of us, we've been studying it all our lives. Some people may have just started studying. So therefore, I have to bring it all out as quick as possible. Is that fair? I mean, I just don't want to chase anybody off, but it's the old Malachi chapter 3, and I'll start with verse 7. It says 4 verses. Yet from the days of your fathers you have gone away from my ordinances and have not kept them. Hence America, return to me and I will return to you, says the Elohim of hosts. Now notice he says return to me. I've been thinking about that and why things have been going so wrong and everything's going crazy. But he gave a promise here that if you do return, he says, I will return to you. That's his promise. That's what he says in Malachi. That's the way I have to take it. But in what ways to return to him? What has America done? I'll show you. But you said, in what way shall we return? Verse 8, will a man rob Yah? Yet you have robbed me. But you say, in what way have he robbed you? The father's answer, in tithes and offerings. You are cursed with a curse, for you have robbed me. But most don't think they have. Even this whole nation, like America, more worried about their own houses versus him. It's great to have things. You know, I like to have things myself. I mean, I don't, but you know, that's, I just want to bring this out. But you are cursed with a curse, for you robbed me, even this whole nation, like America, Great Britain, whoever. Bring all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. And prove me now in this, says the Elohim of hosts, if I will not open for you the windows of heaven and pour out for you such blessing. Now the churches want to hijack this and use it to build Joel Osteen's $6 million mansion. All right, now this is what I want to say here. There's a difference between true offerings. The word tithing is gone. Tithes are gone, 10, 20, and 30% is gone. There's no Levitical priesthood, but giving has not stopped. See, he still requires it. It's just it morphed into, if you want to call it, new covenant terms. As someone once said, give and it shall be given, hold back and it will be held back. That's what he's saying here. You were cursed with a curse. So I have to look at my own self. You know, in my case, I have to give my time to do this while there's still time. If the world's going to blow up, I don't know, but nevertheless, these are still his requirements. But then there's a difference between true giving and biblical salesmanship. There are those out there that say you can't accept offerings anymore. It's illegal. That's not the truth, because like Peter, he took offerings, did he? If it was done away with and he wasn't allowed to do it, then Peter should have been condemned. Or Paul or anybody else. Offerings are still to take place. You know, giving. But the churches want to hijack that. They want to sell their books, their CD or DVDs or whatever they got nowadays. Who knows? We don't sell, but if there's no storehouse to give to that's open, where do you give to? And do you want to give to a counterfeit ministry? It'd be better if you gave nothing. I'm just to answer the question for no name given here, is to answer this question. If it come to my mind and I need to address it, and just politely move on and just make it simple. But it's not wrong, like a teacher, to accept offerings. It's not wrong. To be a salesman, though, a biblical salesman, that's selling in the temple. So let's take this short little example. We flip over to here. You know it well, but I think it needs to be said again. Luke 21:1. Then he looked up and saw the rich men putting their gifts into the treasury. And he saw a certain poor widow putting in two mites. In verse 3, so he said, well, truly I say to you that this poor widow has put in more than all. For all these out of their abundance have put in offerings for Yah, but she out of her poverty has put in all the livelihood that she had. Isn't that something? He said in another of the Gospels that for this will be given a memorial for her. This little widow, her two little mites, she became remembered ever since the Bible days. Isn't that something? Now the rich gave a lot. There's a lot of people gives Joel Osteen, I need $1,000, and everyone throws $1,000 at him. It's salesmanship. It's not true. He's not telling you the truth, and it's to name it and claim it and whatever else they're doing. I don't watch them. I don't like them. But there's a big difference between the two houses here. One has a different mentality than the other. But there's other things to give to as well. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to show you this last example that there's other ways to give as well. I mean, I'm just to answer the question the best I can. The 10, 20, 30% tithing, no Levitical priesthood, those things are gone. But the giving aspect is not. But somebody say, well, you can't accept an offering if you're a Bible teacher. I've heard that statement. Well, geez, if you won't accept anything, how can the Father bless you? If you're going to say no anyway, He's not going to say yes. So on one hand, He says, you robbed me in offerings. On the other hand, you robbed me because you wouldn't accept it. If somebody's a true teacher, though. But that's not someone's motivation, is to make money. So we have to have a balance somewhere. I know this is a touchy subject for many, but I thought I'd bring this up. But I want to say right here, this, and finish it up here. Matthew 25:41, just, how about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 verses. Very short ones. Then He will also say to those on the left hand, depart from me, you cursed, into the everlasting fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me no food. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. If you're not giving truth and telling others about the truth, you're not feeding them. And it also could be physical food, or it could be money for whatever. Gave me no drink. What are people drinking of? The wine of Jezebel's fornication, the wine of her spiritual adultery. People are famished for the truth, and that's Amos chapter 8. He says there will be a famine of hear the words of the Elohim. That's really been happening. To hear the real truth, they'll go to and fro, searching all across the internet, and almost nobody out there has any credibility. They got no foundation. They're just coming out, they're repeating what they heard from the past 4 people, that they got it from those 4 people, and those 4 people got it from those 4 people, and are parroting each other with the same garbage and not even giving you any definitive answers. And ones that are true on top of that. So people aren't being fed and not being given spiritual water to drink, is what He's saying. I was a stranger and you didn't take me in. Naked and you didn't clothe me. Sick and in prison and you did not visit me. This doesn't mean we go to prisons. I mean, some do. Some are called to do that. But I'm spiritual prison. In Isaiah, he says very clearly, I will bring the prisoners from the prison house of darkness. Elsewhere he says, in the last days, that's now, darkness shall cover the earth and gross darkness to people. That's another prison right there to bring people out of deception into the truth, and we all share our ideas with each other and try to come out of this mess, because none of us know it all. I certainly don't, and certainly don't feel like it. But I'm learning, and I know you're learning, and I'm not going to condemn you and start throwing stones at you. No, you have your own walk. You know how to do it. But we always throw ideas and encouragement at each other, try to edify best we can. That's also, edifying is also feeding. You sick and in prison? Do you see all the applications? There's more into this than what it says. We can add more things to it if you wish to do so. He didn't need to write 2 or 3 chapters over that. He knows we can figure the rest out, right? He's the king. Praise his name. Then they will also answer him saying, Master, when do we see you hungry or thirsty or stranger or naked or sick or in prison and did not minister to you? How many are doing that now? Well, I gave to Joel Osteen. I gave to Kenneth Copeland. I gave to this one. I gave to that one. I gave to this church. You gave to all the lying ones. So therefore you really gave in treason. I'm not saying all of them are wrong. There's good people out there. But we have to discern who's telling the truth and who's not. I won't give to a liar if I had it. Would you? So we got to be very careful about that as well. Because it's to him we're given to. He exists inside of truth, spirit and in truth. If someone doesn't have truth, then would you give to it? Would you give to someone speaking lies so that you could help fund more deception and keep people in the prison, keep people sick, and keep people hungry, keep people thirsty? Would you do that? But if someone's telling the truth, you would want to build on that to find others and help them. Then you're giving to him. That's what he's trying to show. Hopefully I'm answered for you out there this question. Yes, we are to give, but where it counts. Then he will answer them, saying, Assuredly I say to you, inasmuch as you did not do it to me, or do it to one of these least of these, one ahead of myself, you did not do it to me. And these will go into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into eternal life. So there's a difference in the church world between the true and the false. And the false outnumbers us 100,000 to 1. So yeah, not much to give to out there. And there's other ways to give, not just as those teaching the word. So hopefully I've answered this question, what he's trying to tell us. We have to balance it. We can take other scriptures and we put them all together and see what turns up. But I'll tell you this, even after the king was resurrected and all that, they were still able to take offerings for those who says you can't do that no more. It's being a money changer in the temple. There's a difference between truly teaching the word and people donating to that and those who are into biblical salesmanship. The Father knows the difference. The difference is between those who are actually spiritually or even physically healing and giving food and spiritual food and water, taking them out of the prison house of darkness, taking care of the sheep, and those who are just raking in the bucks with their glory shows on TV. It really just comes out to that, doesn't it? So hopefully this is a simple way to answer it. We're not going to be like Judas Iscariot and betray the king for 10 pieces of silver. You see, that was very wrong. But that happened to Joseph too. He was sold for silver. We don't sell the king for silver. We find out, we discern who's telling the truth and who isn't, and then he'll bless it. And I don't know how he blesses. That's his job. That's his will, not mine. I thought I would bring this up. Hopefully know I answered your question, and maybe meditate on it. I know it's not a prophetic subject. People don't like to click on non-prophetic subjects, but I thought I'd bring this one up this day, and pray the Father bless you.